Hey there. Hel- Hey there. Hello. How do you do? My name is Harry Wetzel. Thanks for coming. It's the 80s, darling. Yes, it is. It is November 28th, 1983. And I just got run over by a car, almost. And my life flashed before my eyes as I leapt for my very life. And I saw my entire life before my eyes. And in the course of that series of flashes, it is now June 1977. I have just graduated high school and I have been unleashed upon the world. Yes, and now there's one thing I learned in high school, it is that I am an actor, and this is what I am going to do. So I go out in the world and immediately start auditioning, and I immediately get cast in the Civic Theater production of Babes in Arms. Yes, I was cast as the narrator, a smallish but featured role. Yes, and a week and a half or 2 weeks into production, into rehearsal, one of the actors dropped out, and I got promoted to the second lead. The second, there's the pretty couple, and then there's the goofy couple. And so I was the boy in the goofy couple. Yes. And that was fun. I sang I Wish I Were in Love Again. Right. And that was the first show that I worked with my new friend, Rodent. Yes. He and I hit it off famously right from the very beginning because we were funny. We could make each other laugh. We knew how to make each other laugh. And that, is the universal language. Yes. Well, Babes in Arms was the first in a series of show after show after show after show after show I was doing. It was high diddly dee, an actor's life for me. It was fantastic. I had so many shows over the next few years until I went to New York City. And after Babes in Arms, I was in a show called Candide. Rodent was in that. He played Candide, and I played several roles as the show was set up. The leads just play themselves, and then the one roles, and then everybody else in the cast has many roles. It was a great deal of fun, and the set was amazing. They took over the entire Osborne Center auditorium. There were platforms and boardwalks and staircases and ramps and drawbridges and everything. It was amazing. And the production was great. We had an incredibly talented cast. I would stack that production up against any other production of Candide anywhere. I would. It was that good. Right. So after that, I did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yes. I was 17 years old and I was playing a 45-year-old man having a midlife crisis. Well, it worked out because I got my first acting award. I got my first acting award for playing Dale Harding in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And if you look, you can see it says Outstanding Achievement in Acting 77-78, H. Wetzel. Uh, that's that's pretty cool. I always thought that was pretty cool. You know, and that was for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Then the next thing I was in was Our Town. The best thing about Our Town, I played the boy's father. The best thing about Our Town that it was that I was dating the beautiful young woman who was playing the boy's mother. Oh, Elizabeth. Yes, that was 1977. Now it's 1978. Yes, it's the 70s, baby. And my first show of the year is The Importance of Being Earnest. I played Algernon Moncrief, and that was the most brilliant director I ever worked with, Dr. Susan Fleury. Incredible. I learned so much from watching her direct. I learned so much about being an actor and so much about directing as well. It was fantastic. It was a lovely production, and I met one of my soon-to-be lifelong friends, Karen. Hey there, Karen. And I met her during The Importance of Being Earnest. And also my other lifelong friend, Stephanie. Hey there, Stephanie. Anyhow, yeah, I'm still in contact with these fantastic individuals. Yes. It's then my next show was Anne Frank, The Diary of Anne Frank. I played Mr. Dussel, the dentist. Then I played Ham, Noah's middle son, in a musical about Noah's Ark called Two by Two. Yes. Then I was in Wilderness. My first paying gig. Oh, that was at Greenfield Village, Henry Ford Museum. Yes, and I had a smallish role. I was a bartender in one scene, and my good friend Dan Barr cast me in that. And I had this $2 crummy New York dialect, and I remember one of my lines. My closing line as I walked off stage in disgust. Them lousy tramps is always getting this dump in Dutch. Yes. Anyhow, that was my welcome to getting paid as an actor. Oh, yes. But then you go right back to community theater. I did Half a Sixpence, which is a musical, and I was the featured cameo. Comic relief. It was a fantastic size role, nice and small, but the audience loves this guy. It was so much fun. Right, that was Half a Sixpence. I played Harry Chitterlow. Yes. Then I was in Brigadoon. Oh, another great experience because I was the second lead. I was the comic lead, and I didn't have to sing any songs. Not that I minded singing a song, but it's just one less thing to have to worry about. Then I was in The Devil's Disciple. That was at Meadowbrook, the Cadillac of Michigan theaters. Yes, they pay well out there, and that was a good gig. It's about an hour outside of Detroit, up in Rochester or the outskirts of Rochester, Michigan. This really uh, lovely theater with a budget. Yes, and so I was Dan Barr put my name on a list, and so that got me in the door. And they said, "Do you want to be?" Because I was just an extra a townsperson in the last scene where there's a bunch of townspeople, and they said, "Do you want to be a backstage scene shifter as well for a couple of extra dollars?" I said, "Yes, I'm a techie at heart as well." So fantastic with that. So that was a lovely gig. I'm working backstage, and it's a play. It takes place in 1777. George Bernard Shaw's *The Devil's Disciple* took place during the Revolution, and I was. Everybody had these uh, brilliant period costumes. Oh, I had a lovely coat and cloak. Fantastic. And I would do the scene shifts in my period costumes. All the scene shifters were in their period costumes. It looked pretty cool. It's lower light anyway. You don't really see them clearly, but you can tell their silhouettes as they move the stuff around. And my period shoes were very loud and clunky. So I wouldn't wear those during the scene shift. I would just wear my street shoes. I had hush puppies those days. Hush puppies. Anybody remember hush puppies? Anybody ever have a pair of hush puppies? Yes. How about that? Comment and like and share it out to somebody who maybe owned a pair of hush puppies. So I got my tan hush puppies, and they're quiet. Crepe soles, yes. And I'm doing all the shifting. All right. So my gig in the show is I'm part of the townspeople crowd. We come out and everybody's mad at Dick Dudgeon, the Devil's Disciple, and he's going to be hanged, and everybody is mad at him. And then the plot comes and turns around, and there's a plot resolve. General Burgoyne, everybody comes and goes. I forget exactly what the deal was, but now everybody's not mad at Dick Dudgeon. He's proven to be innocent, and now he's the hero, and everybody likes him. So we hoist him up on our shoulders for the end of the play, for the end moment. It's me and Hal Doyle, my old pal Hal Doyle, are lifting the Devil's Disciple up on our shoulder for the last moment and the last fade out of the show. Then we put him down and take our curtain calls. All right. So one night, I'm doing the scene shift and everything like that, and I neglected to do something, and I didn't realize until later. But we do the whole scene, and I'm the townsperson, and we're mad at him, and then I'm the townsperson, and we like him again, and we lift him on our shoulders. Hooray, it's the Devil's Disciple, me and Hal Doyle. Hooray, and we put him down, and then the show ends, and we have a curtain call. And it's not until the curtain call that I take my bow, and I realize I'm wearing my hush puppies and my bright red and bright blue Argyle socks. Great. Oh, great. The only color on the stage, because all the costumes are in these muted gray and brown and black with a dash of white here and there, perhaps a trace of maroon here and there, but all these muted colors. The only color on stage is one of the townspeople has got some bright red and blue Argyle socks. What do you know about that? And so I'm taking my curtain call and I go, I got to get out of here immediately. I've got to beeline to the dressing room, change into my civilian clothes, and run for my life before anything happens, or I get in trouble, or somebody says anything to me. So I run down backstage. I'm sprinting, and I'm in a dead run down the hall for the dressing room door. And who heads me off but the director himself? Yes, Mr. Terrence Kilburn. Terry Kilburn was Tiny Tim in the 1938 version of A Christmas Carol with Reginald Owen playing Scrooge. He was Tiny Tim, right? So Tiny Tim himself heads me off at the pass. And he's like, John, you're wearing your Argyle socks. I said, I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. He says, just so long as it doesn't happen again. And I said, I promise, it won't happen again. I was shifting and I just made a mistake. It won't happen again. He says, good, because we can't ever have it happen again. I said, I promise, it won't happen again. He says, well, just so long as it doesn't happen again. I said, it won't happen again. He says, good. And off he goes. And I'm like, oh, well. So I, forever after, for the rest of the run of the show, I am known as Mr. Argyle Socks, as it turns out. Yes, even the ringers from out of town. We had a really classy Broadway actress, Caroline Lagerfeld. Yes, she was in the the company, and she called me Mr. Argyle Socks. And it's very charming in her posh accent. Yes, well, that was what ended 1978. Now it's 1979, and another series of show after show after show after show. I was in The Ladies Not for Burning. I played an 80-year-old monk in a really beautiful monk's costume. I wanted to steal it, but it was too cool to steal. I know. And when would you get a chance to wear your monk's outfit? I know. So it's just as well that I left it. Then I was in The Man Who Came to Dinner. I played Banjo Gook. Unfortunately, I sucked. But Rodent was in that show, and Gnome was in it too, and it was a great deal of fun. Then I was in Kiss Me Kate, and that was the community theater show that proved to me that I don't want to do any more community theater, right? Because this show was just a mess, and it made me realize I can't do this anymore. So then, after that, Gnome himself had read some Ernest Hemingway and wrote a one-act play from Ernest Hemingway short story called A Way You'll Never Be. So, and he wrote it for the four of us. So that's Gnome and me and Rodent and Carp. Us four, great close friends are in this four-person show. And we were working really hard, young actors trying to prove themselves. And we got a great review. Fantastic. So that was a success. We were thrilled with that. Right. That was A Way You'll Never Be. Then back to Greenfield Village. I did a trip to Chinatown. I played a waiter, and I had my own song and dance. I danced Do the Huckleberry Do. Yes. Then I was the villain in Aladdin. Then I was, I was the wizard. And then I was a magician's assistant in The Spider. Yes. Then I was I was two different pirates in Treasure Island. I was Black Dog and Israel Hands, right? And that was a kid's show. So that was 2 shows a day for the month of December. That was a lot of money. That was a lovely gig. And then I was Prince Charming, believe it or not, in Rapunzel. Prince Eric, actually. He wasn't called Prince Charming, but he was still the Prince Charming character. I know. That was the end of 1979. Now, we're here. It's 1980. It's the 80s, darling. And we're doing a play called Scuba Duba at the Actors Renaissance Theater, which is at the Renaissance Center in Detroit, downtown Detroit. Right. So we're walking down the hall on the way to rehearsal one day, me and my scene partner, actress Lady Laurie. And we're walking, and there's a couple of punks coming down the hall the other direction, and they had these wild clothes on and wild colors and rips and safety pins and wild hair in all directions. I loved both of them. It was a couple of girls who were punks. I loved them immediately. And Lori did not. She said, oh, and she said, sort of harsh, I thought. She said, oh, wow, pick a color palette. And I was like, what? And the one girl, she stopped and she smiled at us and she said it like a badge of honor. She said it like a Declaration of Independence. She said, it's the 80s, darling. And I loved her immediately, and off they went. And I was a little disappointed in my friend for making that comment. But if she hadn't, I would have never seen that punk girl's spirit. Yes. So you know what happened after Scuba Doo? Oh, and Scuba Dooba, by the way, got bombed in the press. Larry Devine, the Big Cheese reporter, the Big Cheese reviewer, said, "Oh, what's up with this show? Oh, what's up with the lead? Oh, what's up with this script?" But in the last sentence of the review, after all that complaining, he said, "However, Harry Wetzel, for his allotted 2 minutes on stage, is marvelous." Which led my mother to say, "God bless Larry Devine," from that point on. All right. That was a success for me in any case. And the next thing that happened was college. College. And I'll tell you what it was like, what happened to me there next time. I look so forward to seeing you again.